What makes you think that I'm an answer if you ain't mine? Even if you call me up on.
All right, now gamers, we back on the mic. Okay, we back. We got a lot to talk about. We gotta go over some Sweet Baby Ink stuff right now. Black Myth Wukong. So we got a little bit of an update. Not so much as an update, but we got an opposing opinion that we want to go over. So we got this guy right here, Colin Morty. I apologize if I am butchering your name.
You stupid.
Okay, I can't read. You know, you know how I go. Black reading. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, so here's the caption. No, Sweet Baby Inc. didn't extort game science for $7 million to work on Black Myth Wukong. How do I know? Because even $200 million games don't spend that on consultants. It's an absurd claim. I knew the story was fake the second I saw it. Stop believing everything you read. Okay, so we're gonna go over this. We're gonna go over it, but before we do, we gotta pay some bills. Okay, so the Squabble shop is open, ladies and gentlemen. We got t-shirts, bags, water bottles, mugs, all that type of stuff, different flavors, different colors. Go and check it out. If you want to be a squabbler, you gotta learn how to squabble. So, all right, check that out. Also, live show later tonight. Okay, we normally go 5:15 on Fridays, but for whatever reason my job decided to put me in training today, so I don't get off until 6:45, which means the show will start at 7:15. We're gonna try to get 2 hours in before the hypnocast. Okay, so yeah, check me out then, and then consider becoming a channel member. Let's jump right back into the news. Okay, so let's just hear out what he had to say. Okay, we're gonna zoom in a little bit, get a little close up on these guys.
I wanted to talk about this specifically for one reason, and it's this $7 million consultancy fee thing. There is no way that that's true. I don't need to know any more about the story. There is simply no way that a consultancy company like Sweet Baby Inc. went to Game Science in China and said, we want $7 million for a DEI consultancy.
Okay, so one thing, first off, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with the idea that you can dismiss the entire claim because you think the number is absurd. For the record, that isn't the first time that I've heard that number is extremely absurd. Let's keep it honest. Like most of us, when we heard that number, we was like, nah, $7 million is insane. Because when we think about consultancy companies, we're thinking about, you know, $250,000 to pay these folks to come in and what, you know, sanitize your game, like tell you what's politically correct and all of that. But this is absurd. Like $7 million. But I don't think the size of that number should automatically, you know, dismiss the entire claim. But let's go ahead. Let's continue.
That is a substantial amount of money for any game, and especially a game that is being self-published by a first-time developer, basically. I know they made like one smaller game years ago. In a country that isn't that expensive to make games in. That could very well be like a quarter of their budget.
True.
There's just no way it's true. I don't need to know any more about it than that. And I wanted to bring this up because this is what bothers me. And I hope this is instructive. It's nothing against Mr. Winter or anyone else that believes this stuff. It's just, you got to be accurate and focused if you want to make change or bring attention to a cause and be productive.
Okay, so let's address that. Okay, first of all, I want to give you credit, Don DeMarco. Because what you could have done is you could have came out and said anybody who believes this are dumb, stupid, misogynist, incels, whatever the case may be. You know, the run-of-the-mill tactics that everybody else uses, but you didn't. Okay, you didn't do that. And so, you know, I give you respect for that. I also respect you for giving a reasonable counter argument. $7 million is an absurd number. I will not argue with you there. But I do disagree with this idea that we have to behave like journalists, how journalists are supposed to behave when it comes to making these, when we're fighting for this cause. It is simply our job to present our audience with information and let them make up their mind on what they believe. Okay? I'm not telling anybody what to believe. As a matter of fact, I disagree with my audience all the time. Okay? I tell people all the time, good content doesn't care about woke or anti-woke. If it's good content, people gonna play it or they gonna watch it. And there's people in my audience who believe, nah, you shouldn't touch anything Disney does, or you shouldn't touch anything Sweet Baby Inc. does. But I'm not finna sit up here and tell somebody who's interested in a video game or a movie not to watch something just because Disney was involved or Sweet Baby Inc. was involved. I would prefer that them not to, but I'm not gonna demand it. We don't have to agree on everything. But the simple fact of the matter is, me and other people who believe what I believe in our audiences, we can see the math adding up. The evidence is adding up, guys. You can't deny it anymore. Do we need to bring up? Yo, we do need to bring up. Let's bring up the clip. This is the clip from Kim Belair herself, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. These were her own words.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
I mean, am I tripping? Does that not sound like extortion to you? Guys, we know this is happening. So you can come out and say the number is absurd.
What?
But that doesn't change the fact that we know that it's happening. You can't convince us otherwise. So let's continue.
There's no doubt that it seems like IGN told the audience to cheer for Phil Spencer's thing. That seems to be well reported.
I don't know what that is. Somebody in the comments let me know. He said IGN told their audience to cheer something about Phil Spencer. I don't know what that is. Somebody let me know.
Right? And so that's true. And there's no doubt that there's the accusation of some sort of mistranslation or something going on with the original piece that IGN did about game science.
Correct.
In which they leveraged some pretty serious accusations against them of sexism, correct, I think, and stuff like that, misogyny. Those things could both be true, but it's undermined when such a deeply unserious accusation is made, which cannot possibly be real.
But why not?
Like $7 million that's not like just an amount of money that's bandied around by a studio like Game Science. I don't understand what people think is like going on out there. Sony or Nintendo and Microsoft would balk completely at spending half that much money on a consultancy for a game. That's like a $200 million game. Jaffe and I talked about this a little bit on the show, and we agree completely. Like that just can't be true. Like you don't even need to know anymore. And I wanted to say that because I want people to get into the mode of what is called steelmanning.
Okay.
So if you straw man an argument, right?
Right.
You should instead steelman it, meaning that if you want to have a good argument against something, come up with the most rational, best possible argument in the contrary of what you feel or believe. And make sure it's constructed totally fairly, and then deconstruct it. And then everyone knew you did it fairly. So if you're opposed to something, present the best possible case for that thing. And make sure it's totally honest and fair, and then see what you can do to kind of diminish it, deconstruct it, pull it apart. And if you can't, then you know that at least you did it honestly, and you don't need to make any sacrifices to get to the edge, to the end that you wanted or the result that you wanted. And on the other hand, and as is often the case, you are able to deconstruct steelman things. And you don't need accusations like the $7 million consultancy fee, which I think comes from some random Chinese post, the language post on the Chinese internet that can't be vetted or whatever.
Okay.
That to anyone that knows something about video games knows that doesn't sound right based on budgets alone.
Okay.
That's such a serious amount of money. So I believe that there's some weirdness with IGN in that game, clearly, actually. And that particular writer at IGN does write from a very specific perspective, seemingly exclusively.
Okay.
And I think that that's all relevant. You don't need to have the $7 million thing on top of it, which is specious. Another middle school word, sorry. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, the Phil Spencer thing's true. There's some weird shit with Black Myth, whatever the game's called at IGN. But make sure that you're vetting these things enough to know what's real and what's not, because that strikes anyone who knows about games as just totally bizarre. If that's true, let's say it's true. Let's say like these guys did get held up by Sweet Baby Inc. for $7 million. That's an insane. That's like the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Basically.
Okay, and I agree, I apologize. I wanted to let him get his entire argument out before I start, not really deconstructing, because none of this is fact, right? Like, he can't prove that this is a lie, right? And I can't prove that that Chinese reporter was telling the truth. So we're both just speculating here. So I'm not really deconstructing his argument so much as I am presenting a different idea. You're right. It is absurd. You know what I'm saying? The idea but I think the entire idea of these companies that are supposed to be holding the moral high ground, these consultancy companies that's coming in and sanitizing your games, telling you what's acceptable and what's not, I think that's absurd. And the idea that they're extorting companies is absurd, but we know it's happening. We know it. A lot of this stuff has been absurd. We think it's absurd that we just read a story from an actual game developer the other day who said he presented designs for actual attractive females, and then after 10 iterations, they literally uglify them. Like, that's absurd. But let me present this argument to you. As you said it's absurd and it's a large number. Consider the possibility that the people that are running these consultancy companies are not reasonable. Okay? I understand that a lot of you guys are in the video game industry and you think everybody there is insane and you think the gamers are the ones that are unhinged. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Consider the possibility that the people who are running these companies are unhinged. Would it be really, and I put it in a statement here. I said, would it be so absurd to believe that a company where the CEO has a video online talking about extorting the companies to get what they want would think that she can fleece game science out of $7 million? Because the entire idea of the extortion scheme from our perspective is that the consultancy companies do one of two things. They purposely mess up your image and then charge you to fix it. Right? They work in conjunction with these outlets, these gaming outlets, to ruin your image and then charge you to fix it. Well, what if you're game science and you already have a CEO or developers who have publicly already said some sketchy things, as far perceived as sketchy, as far as saying things that would be considered misogynistic or whatever, and you've already done all of the work for the consultancy company, and so they feel, hey, you already don't know Western customs, so you don't know what's overpriced or not. Yeah, sure, EA will only pay us $500,000 to do it, but this is a Chinese company. They might have $7 million. We don't know what their budget is. Let's see if we can fleece them for $7 million. And additionally, I saw somebody say down here, where is it? Where's the comment? Where is it? They said, I think they said $7 million equals like 900,000 yen or some shit like that. Where is it? When I think it's called. I can't find the comment. I think they deleted it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the comment went. But somebody said $7 million equals 900,000 yen or some shit like that. I don't know. So this person says the extortion did exist, though. Chinese currency of $7 million is definitely different than USD. However, the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. has yet to come out and deny it is all we need to know. I was going to say that as well. Oh, here's the comment. Is it 7 million Chinese yuan or 900,000 United States dollars? So remember that the person who reported this was Chinese. So were they reporting it as $7 million or Chinese yuan? I hope that I'm saying that right. I know I sound stupid.
You stupid.
You know what I'm saying? So was it really just just under $1 million? You get what I'm saying? So I think context is important here. By the way, shout out to these guys for, having a reasonable conversation. I appreciate it. I would love to have a conversation with him about that. And he probably knows more about the gaming industry than I do. But, I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As far as Sweet Baby Inc. goes, welcome to hell.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker! Oh, fuck you, fuck you.